Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our Autodesk Construction Cloud series. In this session, we're going to look at how Autodesk Construction Cloud supports model review workflows across teams and projects. Model review is a critical part of coordinating design and construction. It helps us spot issues early, communicate effectively, and keeps the project moving forward without costly delays. We will explore how you can view files directly in your web browser. This is a very lightweight, easy way to access all of your files. I'll also show you when it's an appropriate time to make the switch to ABC Pro and start exploring model coordination. Model coordination is where some of our more advanced tools live. We can use this for things like clash detection and appearance profiling. Whether you're a designer, a coordinator, or a project manager, there are tools here to suit your level of involvement. I want to start by talking about the web browser. Now, we kind of looked at this in one of our earlier episodes on creating issues, but this is a great tool for opening up design files and seeing exactly what's happening in them without having the native authoring desktop products. We can see some of the issues that I've created previously, and we can see everything that's happening in the 2D drawings or the 3D model. This is a very quick and easy lightweight for someone to jump in, review a model. We can use our section boxes to cut through a model and figure out what's happening within inside each level. We can also identify which items are by looking at the model properties box. From here, we're able to turn off layers as well to freeze and highlight certain areas, and we can also measure to get an idea of what's going on within our model. We can add comments like we did earlier in our create issues. We can also add markups as well. This browser is perfect for quick reviews, site teams, and stakeholders who need access to project information without diving into more advanced desktop products. Now, let's move into model coordination. This is where ACC helps us detect clashes and help coordinate models across multiple disciplines. Think of it as your automated clash detection engine in the cloud, helping teams identify problems early before they even begin. Let's start by looking at the models. The first thing you want to do is set up your model coordination space. Once I select Create Coordination Space, I'm prompted to give a name. From there, I need to select which folder. I'm just going to select my project files. From here, we can either select a main folder and all of its subfolders, or we can select multiple folders here. As you can see, they're already pre-ticked, but I only want to clash on certain folders, so I'm just going to tick these ones here. From there, we can turn on automatic clash detection, or we can turn it off. For this example, I'm going to leave it on. Now that my coordination space has been set up, I'm able to navigate between them by clicking on the drop down on the right. I can go to my previous coordination spaces, or I can manage them by clicking on this. I'm going to select test, which I'm already in, and we can see the files that were in the folders that I selected. You might notice that we have over here the number of clashes per group. These are pre-populated, and it's run on a set of rules that is already built into our model coordination space. I just want to point out that these clashes are actually hard clashes, and that is a predefined rule. That means this is where geometry hits geometry. This is not a soft clash like you can do in Navisworks, where you might be able to set a 300mm clearance or whatever your clearance might be. This is a hard clash that intersects geometry to geometry. We can see that through the clashes tab here, which ones are clashing with which and what's being done. Now that we've discussed the clash rules, I want to open up a model. I'm going to select the DWG files within here, and I'm going to hit Open in Viewer. Here, in Model Viewer, we're looking at an aggregated view of multiple discipline models. This gives us a federated model environment, if you will, where we can see different models interacting with one another. Once we're inside, all we want to do is go browse through the different levels, which we do not have for a civil model. We can filter between assemblies. If there are assemblies in this model, this is just a solids model, so it's not. We can start to filter by category, so it turns everything off but that layer. We can also go through the model tree and start to turn things on and off through there as well. For clashes, we can go through here and we can clash a model against all models or by one. What we're also able to do here, and this one is a little bit confusing, is show clashes above millimeters. Now, I want to express that this is not a soft clash like you see in Navisworks or a clearance check. Simply all it does is ignores all of the clashes that are less than 100 millimeters in this case. So if there was a clash that overlapped by 99 millimeters, this would be frozen because I've set the parameter to 100. We can also add issues. If we want to create an issue, we can go through cut sections, measure, check settings, check profile. One feature that I should probably show you is something called show object color palettes. What we can do here is we can quickly filter the model by properties, by file, or by model. So we can color things quite quickly, so we can visually see what file is part of which file, which model is part of which model. Or for property, we can go through and select a custom property field. For here, I want to go through and check a custom field that I've put in there, which is a uniclass asset code. I can see here that I have 12 unassigned and 92 that are. So that might tell me that I need to go back and double check that the uniclass coding has been applied properly. Again, here I can see that these are all the different codes that have been used and 21 unassigned. So that's telling me that there's 21 items that have been incorrectly assigned or not assigned at all. So that's a good way to visually check what's happening within the model. Let's take a quick look at the Snowden Towers here. What I want to do is start to drill down into some of the mechanical features within this model. And I'm going to just isolate them so we can see exactly what's going on. From here, we can go to the color objects and we can start to either sort them by property and then choose which property we want to put the colors on. And we can start to see pretty quickly the powers of this within an architectural model or a mechanical model in this sense. Here I've just got another view turned on with some of the other mechanical disciplines, and we're just going to add the color so we can see the different exhaust airs in this instance. You can see where they're all attached to and what it all might look like, so it's pretty cool. You've got all these different colors here, and here we go, we can see it's exhaust air, return air, supply air, or unassigned. So that's one way to look at it here. Here within the civil model, I'm just going to turn it on by uniclass status. Here I can see existing, new and removed and unassigned. So we can change the colors here quite quickly to be what we want. So it's pretty powerful to quickly visually see what's happening within your models by colors. We can apply the same thing to a Revit model, and we can still sort by property, by file, or by model. Property. After we've created our last issue, checked our clashes, filtered the model, checked the levels, there's only two things left to do. Firstly, we want to save view. I also want to make this public so everyone can see it, not just myself. If it was a sensitive coordination issue, you might leave it as private, but we're just going to make this public. And hit save. Now that's been saved, one other thing here which is pretty cool is we can save this to docs. I'm going to choose the project folder of where it can go and hit save. Now I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to navigate down to my views window. Here I can see my pre-populated view that I've just saved. I can click on it and it's going to take me back to that model coordination space of my 3 models. If we didn't do this step, we would have to go and recreate this model coordination all over again. I also want to quickly navigate back to Docs and show you that this space has been saved, and so now other users can go through and view my same model coordination, or federated model if you will. They are then able to go through, check the sheets, check the levels, check the issues, and check the model browser. Note that there's no clashes in here, that's only reserved for model coordination. Before we get out of model coordination space, I just want to show you the levels if we had a structural or an architectural building. Here, we're able to click through the different levels, which isolates each floor as we go. This is great to clear all of the clutter, and then we can set up some views or set some clashes based on what we can see in the view only, rather than getting confused about different levels and different information within the model. Now, we've spoken about views, we've spoken about clashes, we've seen issues before. What I want to show now is meetings and correspondence. So in meetings, we can set up different meetings, which I'll show you by clicking on here and going to new meeting. We can add a link to either Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Here we can add a description to the meeting. We can add topics that we'd like to discuss. We can add a second topic. And we can essentially add as many line items here that we wanted to. Bridge or road. Yeah, we can add more topics. And we add a description to the meeting. Sorry, we add a meeting summary. So all we can do here is we can add attachments. We can add invitees. I'm going to choose a few of my colleagues, hit confirm. I'm going to attach some references. So I want them to look at the files which we've done our model coordination on. So I'm just going to pin to where they're saved. And hit add files. That way the teams get a direct link to which files we're talking about. I can set the date, the time, or location. We have a Zoom link here, or a Teams link, sorry. And then I'm going to create a follow-up. So we're going to do this meeting on the 9th, confirm. And let's add another one just for fun. We'll make one on the 16th, so a week later. And then it's going to save automatically. So if I go back to meetings, I can see my Bridge Road meeting here, and then my meeting, which I forgot to put a title on. I can go through and change that if I wanted to. I can change that to anything you want. Head back, confirm, and we're ready to go. So when that meeting is called, we can then save that to our Outlook. So we can then go through and add it to our calendar. Everyone will get notifications and we can run through live in the meeting and open, close items. We can do clashes. We can essentially do anything. This is fantastic for assigning responsibilities live in the meeting and making sure it's trackable and everyone's seeing the same information. Now we're looking at correspondence. Now I'm going to create a new one here. I'm going to add in a subject. I'm going to add team members. I'm going to add roles here. So I'm going to add the road designer there. I'm also going to CC the senior engineers. It's going to be public. And we're going to enter in some details. From there, we can we can add attachments. So again, we saved our view to docs of the model coordination. So I'm going to add that in so everyone knows what we're talking about. I can add some references in here. So files, sheets, RFIs, issues, assets, photos, depending what it could be. And hit, so we can add a status and a due date, and then I'm going to hit send. What we can also do here is file from email. So I can upload emails by choosing files through here. Or what I can do is I can also say project email address. And so what this does, if I send an email to this email address here, it will automatically be stored within my correspondence on ACC. So as long as everyone's aware of what this email address is, maybe worthwhile sending it out at the start of a project, it's a brilliant way to get email and correspondence within ACC.